So last week I made a mistake and I broke my Yoder. Today I'm going to show you what I did and we're going to take it apart and see if we can fix it. Let's get into it. What's up barbecue fans? Welcome back to the patio. My name's Jake. You're watching Rum and Cook. Today on the channel we're talking about our Yoder YS640S and a mistake I recently made. It's rather fitting that I'm wearing my offset rookie shirt because it is a rookie mistake. The short version is I put some wet pellets in my hopper, it got jammed, and no worky. So yeah, I mean, I had no idea the pellets were wet. I'm not 100% sure how it happened. I normally keep my pellets in the garage, but I did have a bag that was partially opened, and I know I left it out overnight, but like it didn't rain or anything, so maybe just the condensation or whatever. But I filled up my hopper and I was doing a cold smoke, and then my hopper's already full, so I turned it on and I walked away for a little bit, and I'm like, wait a second, I'm not hearing pellets drop or anything. And lo and behold, the auger was not moving at all. So now we've got to take this apart and figure out how to fix it. There is a PDF that tells you how to do this, so I am going to follow that. I'm not just kind of winging it, but what I will tell you, and I wish I got on camera, I was not actually going to make a video of this, but I decided to make a video and I was already into the process. So what I've done so far is I've emptied out the hopper completely, and I've used a screwdriver to get in around the auger. I'll show you a shot of the auger. It's a difficult shot to get on it, but you can see that it's mostly cleaned out now. But the problem is that it's still not working, so I'm assuming there's some pellet mush at this point underneath, and I'm just not getting it all. It could be on either side of the auger opening as well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull off the end, we're gonna pull out the motor, make sure I'm... Ollie! 1 second. So yeah, we're gonna pull out the motor and we're gonna pull out the auger and make sure it's perfectly clean. Now I did ask Yoder if there's a chance I damaged my motor, and they said the motor is very resilient, so I would take it apart and see what happens. They're pretty confident that I can do this and put it back together and get it in working shape. I figure I make a mistake, I might as well share it with you guys because you might make the same mistake. But I can tell you right now, if your pellets are moist at all, do not use them because it will clog this up. First time I've done it in 3 years, first time for everything. Let's take this thing apart and see what happens. Now, according to the instruction manual, you only need 3 things. You need a 5/16 socket, you need 2 Allen keys, a 3/16 and a 5/32 Allen key. In my case, I'm gonna need 2 more things. Number 4 is a rum and coke. Cheers. Number 5 is a little bit of patience. I am not one of those guys that likes to do handy things, but I broke it, so I'm gonna fix it. The first step here is we're gonna take off the 10 bolts all the way around the outside. Right, and these are like kind of the sheet metal screw type. We got a drill gun. So what I'm doing here is, as I see things and I'm going to disconnect some wires, I'm just taking a picture so I remember which way they go. So I've disconnected the fuse, I've disconnected the 1 fan, and now we're going to disconnect the motor, and I'm noticing the black one is on top. Oh, and then we've got the red one on the bottom, and what I'm seeing here is the spades are sticking inside here, so I just had to make sure they stay inside the motor. We've got that part done. And this is going to be difficult to see, but inside here there's a 5/32 screw. Looks like there's 2 of them, and that's holding this assembly in. It's in the side, it's about halfway back. There we go. So now we've got both bolts out there. This motor should come off. So as I expected, we're a little jammed in here. When I move this, right, the whole auger is moving right now because the auger has an Allen key going into it. All right, there we go. So what I did is I reached my hand on the other side and just pushed on the auger. I'll bring you in here so you can see what I'm looking at. So you can see in here, I've got more of the pellet mush, so to speak, in there, and it's jamming me up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go get a vacuum and just vacuum this up to make it easier to get out. All right, so at this stage, I could take out the auger or disconnect the motor from the auger. There's just an Allen bolt that holds it on the shaft. It's got a flat spot. But as you can see, it's moving in and out clear. I've gotten all the pellet ash out of there. So I think we can probably just connect this and see if I can make the auger turn on. So we will connect our power here. And on the door here, or well, the back plate here, we've got our fuse, right? You can see that. So we're gonna have to connect that, I would assume, to close our circuit. We're not going to run it long enough to heat it up or anything, so we're just going to let it run without the fans. Again, red was on the bottom, black was on the top, I believe. Double check my picture on my phone. Yep, red was on the bottom. So since our fan is disconnected, we'll be okay. We'll turn this guy on. Now, while we're in here, I'll show you, I have a replacement fan inside for this. In the wintertime, sometimes this fan gets a little loud. These are like computer fans, pretty common for the bearing, just to go after time, but you can see it's just 4 Phillips head screwdrivers, or screws that hold that in place. But now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit my start button, and our auger is not moving. All right, so let's turn this off. I'm just gonna double check that I've got these connected properly because I pulled out the one end on this guy. Our next step here is we want to make sure our motor's getting power. So we are going to go connect our fuse here, connect power. Actually, while it's unplugged, I'm going to take these guys off again. So what we'll do here is we will take our power off here, and then we're going to go to this inner fan here. And then we will take our fuse wires and we will connect our power, turn this guy on. All right, so our fan turns powered, so something's wrong with my motor. You can see here. Wait a second, there it goes. So obviously the auger is going to turn at different speeds depending on what it's set at, but we're definitely getting power. Reset this one more time. These guys are getting there. The spade connectors are not quite the same size, but you can see, obviously I'm getting power to the fan. So we've got a problem with our motor. Take this off. Double check our connections here. It did pull the spade out here. Try this one more time just to make sure. Oh, wait a second, we didn't have, must have had a good connection because now we're, oh yeah, you can see, let me show you up top here. You see our auger's turning there. So it looks like I just didn't have a good connection the first time. So now we've got to put this back together. I'm gonna get a vacuum and I'm just gonna, you can see since I pulled that out, we've got some pellets there. Let's grab that. All right, so now we've got to put this back together. we're going to grab our bolts here. You've got two. The one with the collar goes on the far side here. All right, so they'll go in by hand, but there's a little collar there. You got to shift the motor and the collar to find the threads, and then you're good. So I'm going to come in here with my vice grips again. There we go. Oh, man, it's a really awkward spot. All right, so that's good. You can see that we've got a little zip tie here that's kind of come back on us. So we're gonna put this back in place. That's just holding everything up here. Now the big thing here is I took a picture of how the fans were. Right, if you get your polarity wrong, the fans are gonna spin the wrong direction. So in this case, white was away from me. Green was close. Now we'll look at here. And in this case, green was closest to the back wall. Right, so I'm gonna attach my fuse. Green was close to the wall, and we got white there, all right? So now, before we put this back together, we're gonna just make sure that both fans are working. And you can see that one's spinning, we're good. Make sure my auger motor works again. It does, so we'll go into shutdown mode. Unpower, or I'm going to unplug that. Plug this back in here, turn this on. And you can see our auger's moving there. All right, I'm going to hit start, and there we go. So our auger's moving, it's trying to prime the pit. So we'll turn it off and we'll put our 10 outside screws in. And now we'll line up our holes here. Here we go. And we're gonna put these back in. And real quick on these, you guys saw me using a drill. I loosened with these. I'm gonna not put them on tight with this and hand tighten them, okay? Let me wash up real quick and I'll give you some closing thoughts. So it appears we've got everything back to normal. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna drop in some pellets, some dry pellets this time. And we will turn this guy on. And now we'll wait for the auger to push some in. We should hear some pellets drop in here within about a minute. Gives me time to talk about the contest. So on the channel, we do a contest Tuesday to Tuesday, Thursday to Thursday. And what I do is at the end of the month or the first video of the next month, we'll do a drawing. Super easy to enter. All you gotta do is you gotta be subscribed to the channel, you gotta like the video, and you gotta comment with 2 hashtags. So for this video, we'll use the 2 hashtags of Yoder smokers and hashtag home repair. Hashtag Yoder smokers, hashtag home repair. Comment down below using those 2 hashtags. And when I do the drawing at the end of the month, I will do a drawing for a $25 gift card to appbbq.com. If you happen to be a Patreon member, check it out, help support the channel. Starts at $5 a month. If you pay the $5 a month and join Patreon and I pick your name, I'll double it and I'll make it 50 bucks. So well worth it. I hear a pellet drop. I heard one drop, I thought. Maybe a false alarm. Oh, there they go. So I think we're back in action. I'm gonna see if we can get a little bit of smoke out of this. And then I think we're gonna make ourselves an early dinner. Fire this up, grill some chicken, one of my favorite things. But just so you know, make sure your pellets are dry. Obviously, we found out the hard way what happens if your pellets get moist. It goes to a crumbly powder, almost like a thick paste, and it just jams the auger all up. Like, it took me probably 20 minutes to unjam my auger, to give you an idea. And I was just long screwdriver, vacuum, breaking it all up, and it turned out I still had to take it apart to fix it. So lesson learned. Hopefully I saved you a little bit of hassle. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed yet, do so below. I'll see you soon.